why selling your services won't create an income. I'm going to talk a lot about how coaches need to sell and what you shouldn't do in order to be able to attract business. My 3 secrets to a successful coaching business, and how to stand out by being yourself. Now, to add a little bit of background, I'm originally from Ireland. I'm currently in Marbella, Spain on 3rd week of lockdown with another 3 weeks to go. I'm slowly eating my way through the house. I don't know about the rest of you. It's very interesting given that I work from home all the time. This is not new to me, but yes, when I'm told that I can't go out for a walk now, it's the only thing I want to do. So as coaches, you'll understand that. My background, I come from the corporate world. I've spent over 20 years mostly in telecommunications. I started out as a call center agent in working for the Irish airline Aer Lingus a very long time ago. And I ended my corporate career as a group head of learning and development for a worldwide telecommunications company. I've lived all over the place. I'm a passionate traveler, worked in 18 countries and counting, spent a lot of time in Asia, in Thailand, and over 5.5 years in the Middle East, across Dubai and Doha. I've self-published 2 books, so if you're interested in self-publishing, you can ask me about that too. I've won 30 industry awards. I now consider it my hobby. Winning awards has become a hobby. I do it for fun. I've cracked the code of how to win a ridiculous amount of awards without having to expend too much effort. And as coaches, awards is the quickest way to build your credibility and authority. So if you have any questions on that, I'm happy to answer those too. I'm super passionate about personal and professional development. I suppose I've been passionate about my own development for a very long time. Even when I worked in the corporate world, I felt to outsource my development to a company was madness. To expect someone to train me the way I wanted to be trained or give me the training that I needed. I could never expect an organization to do that for me. So I've always invested heavily in my own training and in great training like I did with Empower World. And that has just sort of always been an underlining theme. No matter what I've been doing, it's been about developing myself and others. I love Harry Potter. I'm a child at heart. I am not a grown-up. I have an adult body, but inside I'm an absolute kid. I believe in magic. I believe in fairy tales. I will only watch movies that are uplifting. I am ridiculously positive, annoyingly so. In fact, it's off-putting to some, which is why I will talk about being authentically you and uniquely you, and how you can leverage who you are and not have to cover up who you are. I don't believe you need to be serious all the time in your profession or even as a coach. And I use my sense of humor and my positivity a lot in my coaching. And I don't get enough exercise. I thought we need to put a little bit of reality here. I'm not perfect. I don't get enough exercise. I want to exercise now when I can't. And my struggle in life is always my wellness, my well-being and my health. So that's constantly on my mind. So I'm not perfect by any means. And I'm disproportionately doing well in my career and not in a lot of other areas of my life. But we're not going to highlight those for the purpose of this webinar. We're going to focus on the positive. So, and what started out this journey for me is my number one value is freedom. So those of you who understand your values, my number one value is freedom, then independence and fun. And I wanted, after I left the corporate world, to have an online coaching business so that I could work anywhere, at any time, in whatever way I wanted. I'm quite selfish in that way and very demanding of being able to do what I want, where I want, and when I want. And I knew that the online world was the only way that was going to give me the amount of freedom that I want and need. And I wanted to be able to leverage my coaching experience and all the training that I had done to, not in a cliched way, make a difference in the world, because sometimes I'm not sure that that's really what I'm here for, but to help people actually get more freedom. So all of the courses that I've designed now in hindsight, I'm a little liberator of people. This is actually what I think I stand for. I help people try to create their own financial freedom because I want them to be free too. So freedom underpins my products that I design, how I coach, how I show up on my social media, and how I live my life. And I think if you're stuck right now wondering what area should I coach and what should I do and what difference do I want to make, I would look to your values immediately. If you don't know what your values are, find out those, because those will be underpinning everything that you stand for anyway, and will be where I think you can really make a difference in the world. So it's about freedom. And it started with this Facebook post, this exact Facebook post. And let me give you a bit of context. I left Thailand and moved to Spain with my other half, Maurizio, a couple of years back after I'd left my full-time job. I knew I wanted to coach. I knew I wanted to be online, and I'd done 100 courses on, you need to find your purpose and your niche before you start a business. And I was hands up or do a little comment. Yes, you've been here, you're doing courses, and you still don't seem to get the answer that you want, and you end up more frustrated. And I found myself going, I still don't know what my purpose is, and I still don't know what my niche is. And I realized I was procrastinating and I wasn't getting anything done. So I thought, to hell with it all, I'm just going to go out my Facebook page and ask people what they want, because I can't continue going the way I'm going. So I wrote this exact post in Marbella. And I said, I want to run a group 30-day challenge, because at the time they were doing the bucket challenge, the ALS ice challenge, and Facebook, which is my happy place, I love Facebook, was having weight loss challenges and get ripped abs challenges. And I thought, I can run a challenge. Like, that doesn't sound too hard. So I said, I'd love some feedback on the kind of challenge that you might like to participate in. This would basically involve an activity that you complete each day for 30 days. I'll coach and provide all the motivation and support that you need. You can choose from one of the following 5 ideas: building your confidence, stop worrying about what other people think, overcoming a fear of failure, achieving a goal that's been eluding you, stop procrastinating. And if none of them apply to you and you can think of something that you would like help with, just put it in the comments. That's what I went out with. And within hours, number 4 was the top one. And to be clear, I had no business at the time. I had no customers at the time. This just went out to my Facebook friends and network. That's all. And everyone came back with achieve a goal that has been eluding you, and very strongly so. So I remember sitting down at the end of the day, looking at all of these answers and thinking, oh God, I'm onto something. And then I put my coach hat on. Marie and Janine would be proud of me. So I put my coach hat on and I thought, if there's a goal that's been eluding these people, it means they've been trying for this goal and they keep repeating patterns. So there's probably sabotage going on, and there's probably limiting beliefs. And they keep repeating these. So I was sort of going, I think they feel like they need to cleanse themselves of all the beliefs and sabotage. And I went, they need a detox. And then I went, oh no, they need a detox. And this is where detox was born. And I have since put my name proudly in every product that I have. I have a very versatile name, I have found out. And I went, oh my God. And I got goosebumps. My hair stood on my arms when I came up with the detox name. And I went to Canva. If you don't know what Canva is, go there, because it's my favorite tool, canva.com, where you can design the social media posts. It's marketing that makes you look like you've spent a fortune when you actually haven't. And I love it. And I designed this little form, and I immediately, the next day, put it out on Facebook, and I said, the detox challenge is starting on the 1st of June, and who wants to sign up? And I posted, so it's 20th of May. So I had just less than 2 weeks until the 1st of June, and I had nothing designed. I had no preparation. I didn't know what I was doing, other than I was very clear my customers wanted help with a goal that was eluding them. And I had told them that we would have 30 days to do it, and I would give them homework every day. That is all I knew. But I am very proud of having an inbuilt strategy, which I call winging it. And it is my favorite business strategy, where you don't need to know everything. And actually, I'm going to show you, you are better off not preparing and not planning. In many cases, you will design a much more unique and brilliant experience. So that's what detox came from. And this is one of the posts that I made after I did the picture. This is the actual post here on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to explain what I didn't know I was doing, but I realize now what I was doing. So join the Detox 30-Day Challenge starting the 1st of June and finally deal with that goal that's been eluding you. A structured program with an exercise to complete each day for 30 days. Now, what happened here was I stated the problem I was solving clearly, which is very important if you're going to sell coaching products. You need to solve a problem, and people need to know what problem that you're solving. If you can't state that clearly, they don't know what your program is about, and it needs to be very specific. So I stated the problem I was solving clearly, and I had about 7 days ready to get as much done as I could. I said in the post, this is not for the faint-hearted. I deliberately wanted to attract people who were up for a challenge. Now, even though I was offering this for free, and Marie knows this, I remember having this conversation with Marie, I'm an impatient coach. I have very little tolerance for BS. I don't suffer fools gladly. And I remember worrying in my Empower World training, was this is going to make me a horrible coach? And Marie told me to embrace who I am, and the people who will want that kind of coach will come to me. And that's exactly what happened. And even though I was offering this for free, I knew that if I attracted everybody, I would end up not enjoying running the program because people would frustrate me. So I stated deliberately, not for the faint-hearted. This is an intensive personal development experience. If you get chosen to participate, it will be an experience you will never forget. So even though it was free, you have to register to participate, and based on your responses, I would choose to select you or not. Now, I was scared to do this, and I created a big spreadsheet with loads of questions, because I thought, if you can't be bothered filling out this registration form, then you're not my customer. Then you're not going to do a 30-day program. But I worried, was I making it too hard? Because all the guidebooks say make it easy for customers to come to you, remove barriers. And here I was creating a big wall of a barrier. But what happened was I attracted the A types, they are detail oriented, they're perfectionists, they're competitive, because they were really worried I wouldn't accept them. And a lot of people said to me afterwards, when they got the email saying, you've been accepted to the detox program, they literally went, oh, like I'm deserving of the program. Because when you give stuff away for free, and if there was one thing I would want you to take away from this program, it's this. If you give things away for free and you open it to all, it will not be valued. It will absolutely not be valued, and people will not take it seriously, and you'll probably end up getting taken advantage of, and you won't enjoy the experience yourself as a coach. So setting high standards for yourself and for who you will work with and who you will not work with is very important at the outset. Think about, what kind of personality a person do I want? What do they do? What do they believe in? What do they think? Because one of my proudest achievements is the kind of people I attract to my business. I love them. Like, I can't say, I love my customers. They are people I want to hang out with. Like, I literally fall in love with them. And if someone slips in that isn't my kind of person, they're out. And I don't feel bad about that, because I'm not for everybody, and everybody's not for me. So the last piece of this, I'm offering this very first program free of charge, but you must be willing to dedicate at least 30 minutes a day if you're serious about getting results. So offering it for free meant I could try it out, because at the time I was winging it. Remember, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I didn't want to charge. So offering for free, I felt better, so I could see what worked with no risk. But I still was demanding that if you're going to show up, and I'm going to give my time designing this for free for you, you are going to show up every day. And one of the rules I set was, if you joined in the program, you must show up every day to do your homework. You must do a video every day in my Facebook group. And most people had never done video before. And if you didn't show up 2 days in a row without telling me, I would throw you out of the group. And I was ruthless in those. I would have people begging, don't throw me out, don't throw me out. And I would, because the people who are showing up every day doing their best, if I don't show up for them and give them my attention rather than running around after people who aren't, that's not what I am. And that's not what I'm about. So the people who did show up loved me for enforcing rules and boundaries. And it made them feel even better about themselves, that they were in a tough program and they were getting things done. Now, obviously, I wasn't cruel to the people who were leaving, but I would just say, you're not obviously not ready. You haven't decided to commit. You're welcome back when you are ready and willing to commit to yourself and put the work in. And some people would come and some people would not. But I didn't know when I was writing this email what I was doing, but there was method to my madness. I think I was just very, very clear about who I wanted in my program and what I wanted for me. Because as coaches, we forget about ourselves. We think so much about what our customer wants, and we neglect what we want from this process too. And I think arguably what you want, how you want to be as a coach, who you want to serve as a coach is more important than your customers right now. And if you get very clear on that early on, it makes the whole process so much easier afterwards, and you avoid a whole lot of aggro. Now, I created a little bit of buzz on my social media. So when that email went out and people were filling in the registration form, I would pull out, so some of the questions, these are 3 of the many questions I had in my registration form. Why are you interested in joining the Detox 30-Day Challenge? What are the top 3 goals you want to work on during this challenge? And what do you think has stopped you from achieving this goal already? Now, 1, I wanted to know why they were interested. 2, if I knew what their goals were, I could already start planning how I was going to design stuff. And if I knew what was stopping them, I could already do work on what their limiting beliefs were, their sabotage patterns. But what also happened was, and this is a great, if you're not great at marketing copy and you're worried about, I don't know what to write on my comments or how to do my advertising, create a registration form, ask your customers questions, then copy their answers and you have marketing copy. Like, look at this. This is one actual answer that I got in the registration form. I've been running a successful and growing business for 2.5 years. I love being my own boss and I enjoy many aspects of running a business. However, I'm starting to lose my enthusiasm for the actual work and dealing with difficult clients and not having the right team to support me. I'm feeling exhausted. I've lots of ideas for my business and my future as an entrepreneur, but I feel I'm lacking focus and direction. This is why I want to join the Detox Challenge. Now, what do you think I did with that? I reworded it and I went, have you been running a successful and growing business for a couple of years? Do you love being your own boss and you enjoy every aspect of your business? However, you're starting to lose your enthusiasm for the work and you're tired of dealing with difficult customers and not having the right team to support you. You feel exhausted and you have lots of ideas for your business and your future as an entrepreneur, but you lack focus and direction and you need help. Free marketing copy right there. Free marketing, and marketing copy costs a lot of money if you're going to go to professionals to use it. And the same, with this one, let's look at this one. I have so many ideas and so little of them get done in the end. I self-sabotage a lot. I always struggle with focus and self-worth and money. I'm frustrated because I often don't do what I said I would. And fear is holding me back more often than not. Like, again, you have loads of ideas and so little of them get done in the end. You're self-sabotaging and you know it. You struggle with focus and self-worth and probably with money too. You're feeling frustrated. Do you see what I mean? You can ask your customers why they're involved in your programs. Ask your customers what their biggest challenges are and then use their words back to them, because they're going to go, when they read this, going, she's talking about me. That's exactly how I feel. And that's how you get people to join your program. And this is why I mentioned you don't sell at your customers. If you're a coach, forget about selling. And I would say, don't try to sell. Talk your customers' language. Understand what their problem is. Use their words in your social media posts, and they will stream towards you because they will see themselves in your words. And they'll love it because you use their words back at them. They don't feel like they're being sold to. They feel like you understand them. They feel like you're in their head. And that is so much more powerful than going, buy my 40-day course, it's $12.99 and there's an early bird and you'll get this. I mean, bleh, it's horrible. You can stand out by showing, I understand you, I know how you feel, and I have something that can help you. That's a really powerful positioning of a coach, because most coaches out there, and I have to block most coaches I start to follow on Facebook because they sell at people and it's not right and it doesn't work. And this is why so many coaches end up having to give up, because they've taken a sales strategy rather than a value strategy, adding values to your customers, understanding where they're coming from and meeting them where they are. And you can do it for free just by asking them questions. So it's super simple. So the design of Detox was really simple. It was daily homework, automated emails sent daily to each participant with directions to complete the exercise. Then I created a Facebook group, a closed Facebook group. I would do a daily video in there, just setting up the exercise for the day, what they should be focused on, and maybe giving feedback on the videos I'd seen yesterday. And we had a weekly coaching call, which was 60 minutes. Everyone jumped in on a Zoom call like this and we did coaching. And this is actually what the Detox ended up being. So I started the Detox with one exercise designed for day one, sick and tired, because I needed to know what everyone was sick and tired of and why, because that was basically getting everyone to projectile vomit all their issues out for me. And I made them write, I am sick and tired of X because X. That's how the exercise is designed. Fill out a page following this format. I'm sick and tired of being overweight because I know how to do this and I need to get my act together. Sick and tired of not having money because I want to be able to take care of my family. And I got them to write it, take a picture of it and post it in the group. So everyone was sharing. One, I did it for me so I could get a really big picture of what was going on with people. But do you know what happened? As soon as they all started sharing their pictures, everyone started commenting going, oh my God, I'm not on my own. Oh my God, your problems are the same as my problems. Oh my God, I'm not a weirdo. And the bonding in the group just went bang. And I didn't intend for that to happen. I was just trying to get information for myself as a coach, but they immediately bonded on day one and sort of went, okay, we're all in this and we all have issues. And then because I was getting to do videos every day, so they did a video of their sick and tired and how it made them feel. I would watch the videos, and based on the videos, I knew exactly what exercise to do the next day. And I would do that every day. And I did that every day for 30 days. And in 30 days, I had an entire program designed. And it was designed right. It was about the people in the moment with what they were doing. And I had 15 people in the first detox program. And all of these are coaching exercises, mini bite-sized coaching. Reconnecting with yourself was about remembering the last time you were happy and confident and feeling good. And what's happened since then? And what have you learned that's positive about that? And what would you like to change or do differently? Awareness of your inner critic. Most people have no idea they have an inner critic at all. So this was sort of light bulb moment for a lot of people. Looking at your sabotage patterns, identifying your limiting beliefs. What rules are you living by that's not serving you? All of this is coaching. Little bite size of everything I've learned from Marie and Janine, designed in a different way. So 30 days, bang, detox is ready. I've only changed it probably 3 or 4 times since. And that's nearly 3 years ago now, which is testament to if you design with your customers and let your customers tell you what they need, you won't have to design anything ever again. How much time did this take? Because this is one of the most popular questions I get asked. I get told all the time, oh my God, you're everywhere. How do you find the time? You're so busy. And I'm going, I'm not busy. I'm not busy at all. I design, like, I'm glad that I look so busy. That's fabulous. But I'm sitting on the sofa playing Candy Crush a lot of the time. Because what actually happens is it took me an hour when I designed the detox. I gave myself an hour each day to design the exercise for the next day. And that was designing it, setting it up on MailChimp, writing the email and the automation. And then I would do a 5-minute daily Facebook Live in the group. I would watch everybody's videos. Everyone's videos averaged about 3 or 4 minutes per video. I would give written feedback on their video. So just challenging them and asking more questions. So my daily effort was about 125 minutes. So just over 2 hours, plus the weekly group coaching call of 60 minutes. So if you're in a full-time job and you're telling yourself you're too busy to design an award-winning coaching program, you have limiting beliefs, my dears, as coaches, because I think the biggest limiting belief about becoming a successful coach is that it's hard. And actually the opposite is true. It is surprisingly easy. And if anything, I am testament to how easy it actually is. What is hard is taking action, is deciding that you're going to believe in yourself and you're going to start doing something. You need to start winging it. I want to be able to teach people how to wing it. That needs to be my next program, where you believe in yourself so innately, knowing that you don't know everything, but you take action anyway, because that is the difference between a successful coach who's making money and an income, and it's a business rather than a hobby that you're doing for free and getting no gratification from. Because as a coach, you deserve to be paid for your work. You absolutely deserve, and it doesn't take a lot of time. I feel like I've lectured you there. The finger came out. I apologize for that, but I feel very strongly about this. So some of the lessons looking back at detox, what really worked well is I created something very personalized. Even though everyone now goes through the standard detox program, the 30 days, I was very clear that I knew that a customer needs results in order for this to work. And I knew the result was they must feel differently about the goal that has been eluding them. And not just feel differently, but have experienced different results, have evidence that something has shifted for them. And if they didn't have that, they wouldn't come back, right? Or they wouldn't tell people about it. So I turned up full on 100% Dee. I will kick your ass if you are not showing up. I will kick your ass if you are not doing the work. I will hold you accountable. And I have a mirror here. I will hold a big mirror, big fat mirror up to you when you are lying to yourself and when you're procrastinating and when you are not doing what is in your best interest. And they loved me for it. They were scared a little bit. They were scared a little bit. I was scared a little bit, to be honest. But they loved me for it. And one girl said that after a coaching session with me, she felt that she was in a corner, started rocking back and forth, going, stop it, stop it. But she loved that I gave her nowhere to hide. She said she had never been held so accountable, and she knew I would not budge. And that was hard for me. And Janine and Marie will know, at my core, I'm a people pleaser. I want to be liked. I think most coaches do. I want to be a popular person. But as a coach, I had to put that absolutely aside and go, I am going to be the person you need me to be for you right now. You haven't been able to do this on your own. You've been brave enough to sign up for this program. I've got you for 30 days and I'm not letting go. And I think in hindsight, it's the biggest show of love some of these people have had in a really long time. Whereas I was sort of worried about being tough, and I was always respectful and I was always professional, but I would not budge. And they loved me for it. And because they need to be pushed for the changes they need to make to get their results. And everyone, I have never had one complaint about the detox program. Everybody leaves it changed. And part of it is the design, and part of it is how I choose to show up as a coach. And it's not about me, it's about my customers and them getting the best results. And it's been great practice for me to get a bit tougher, because I could always do with being a bit tougher. So I've learned through this process as well. As much as my customers have gained from this, I have gained exponentially as a coach. I've become a much better coach because of it. And what happened? I had raving fans. Now, because I made them all do videos for 30 days, which they were all terrified of, within 2 or 3 days, they were all doing their videos, washing their teeth in the morning. There's people that started tuning in in their pajamas. They turned up on their first days like they were newscasters, all the makeup on. Within days, they were doing it naturally, which was an amazing way of building confidence for them. And again, I didn't intend this. I wanted them to do videos so I could really see what was going on with them rather than reading text. But what it did for them was it showed them that they could do stuff that they'd been telling themselves that they couldn't. Something as small as posting a video in a Facebook group. So it was building their confidence. But for me at the end, on the 30th day, when I said, I would love you to do a video testimonial for me, they all did one, because they were absolutely brilliant on video and didn't have any limiting beliefs about doing it. So my marketing then shifted from using content from the registration forms, using customers' words, to now using their faces and their voices on video and just pushing out, this is the next batch of graduated detoxers, listen to them. And these guys went out and deliberately strong-armed their family and friends going, you need to do this. I would have people joining up saying, my sister won't leave me alone. She's told me like I have to do this. Because your best ambassadors, your best marketing will be your customers out talking for you. And these are a selection of the videos. And then I would use their comments in my social media posts. So if I had videos, I went back to Canva again and just put their testimonials and little snippets and even things that would come up during the group. And I would ask for permission. If I saw someone had written something in the group, I'd ask for permission and I would put it in social media. So I don't have to think about sales and marketing. I have never spent a penny on advertising, and I still don't now. I just use my customers' words and voices and faces for my marketing. So what happened? Actually, let me step back. On the 20th day of the first detox, one lady who's still with me now said, what's next? And I went, what do you mean, what's next? I'm just trying to get to the end of the 30 days. I said, I'm still winging it. I'm still in the middle of winging it. But I thought, well, look, I said, and in the group, they were asking each other, what do we do? And I said, okay, what's next? What do you want? And they said, well, we don't want the 30 days to end because we're worried we'll regress back into some of the old habits. We want accountability. And I went, okay. So I invented Dee Parters, which is a one-way ticket to your ideal life. And I was charging for it. So on the 20th day, I brought in $1,123 in revenue on my first free program. And I hadn't planned for it. And I was just thinking, I can't believe people are paying me for this, because I was having so much fun. And as the little PayPal, I would get these emails going, ding, another sign up. I had a meltdown, because I just felt I have finally found my calling and it's working and I'm making money. And Departures was, I'll show you how I structured Departures. Departures was a separate Facebook group, and you had to be a successful detox graduate. You must have done the detox graduate through and passed it to come in. So still a little boundary to keep my people who like the competitive stuff. So you could join the Facebook group for $47 per month. So it was a recurring membership program. Or you could pay $147 per month to get access to the Facebook group and a weekly group coaching call. Or $347 per month to have the Facebook group, weekly group coaching, and a monthly one-on-one coaching. I thought no one would buy the $347. I just put in that in for a laugh, because I thought, well, I might as well be brave. And I had a couple of people sign up for the 347. And I went, oh my God, everything I believe about how hard this is so untrue. And it was so, because it was so easy, I found it hard to appreciate and celebrate my results. But this is exactly what happened. So I made 1,123 in the first month. Within the first 12 months from Departures, I made just over $35,000. And then it took me 9 months to start charging for detox, because the coach still has her own limiting beliefs. I was afraid if I started to charge for detox, it would all crumble. And eventually I went, no, it's absolutely, like I had so much evidence of the value. So I started to charge for it, and I went to a 6-figure business immediately. And that is my business model. And I spent no money doing this, and I winged it, and I didn't know it all, and it still happened. And there's not enough of these possibly real stories out in the world. There's lots of talking about 6 and 7 figures in the world. I started with just over, I call it 4 figures, even though it's 1,123, it's still technically 4 figures, but it is possible. And it takes a bit of time to grow. You can see here in my graph, I would go up and down, and there'd be little panic if there were smaller groups, but it's not a straight line, as they say. It is a little bit up and down, but you gain momentum. So after that first program, all the kind of D stuff came out of Indestructible, Diva, Delightful. An important thing here is you will have lots of ideas. Not all of them will work. Indestructible worked really well. It was a 1-day classroom where I took detox model and put it on a big, like a map, so you could map out your problems. Diva was for people who had confidence issues. I stopped this group in 6 months because they all cried in there constantly. They drove me mental. These were detoxers. I was like, you people should know better. But they were brilliant people and fabulous people. But the group, for some reason, just didn't gel. So I stopped it. And they're still amazing people, but it wasn't for me. And Delightful, I had no business starting. Delightful was around exercise and weight loss, which I did in partnership with someone who's in the wellness industry. But I was like, I'm not even interested in this in my real life. Why would I do it? So stop it. So stay in your lane a little bit. I got overexcited, and then I had to rein it back, but I still learned great lessons from it. I used free technology, and if you're starting out, don't spend money when you don't need to. It'll take time for your income to come, and it will go up and down. Only spend money when you have it. Don't go overspending. To start detox, I had MailChimp for my emails, free. I used Zoom, the free package, free. Facebook group, free. Canva, free. The only thing I paid for was Typeform, which is like a Survey Monkey, but a little bit nicer for people to put in their homework. That was €30 a month. So detox cost me €30 to launch from a technology perspective. So if you're thinking, how do you launch your own with zero budget and in less than 10 days? Ask people what they want. Don't try to come up with the idea yourself. It's too hard. You'll procrastinate because then you'll have more than one idea and you have to think, what do I do? What do I do? Go ask people what they want and give them what they want and start there. Be sure you're solving a specific problem. Like I said, I was solving a goal that has been eluding you. It's very specific. And I could even got more specific. It could have been a financial goal that's eluding you, or a health goal that's eluding you, or a professional goal that's eluding you. You can always niche down more, but solve a specific problem. People pay for problems to be solved. They don't pay for information anymore. There's so much free information on the internet. No one's going to pay for it. But if you tell them you have a solution to their problem, they will. Build and sell before you're ready. Even now, when I have an idea for a course, I will not build it until someone has paid for it. And my model is I'll come up with the idea, or I'll have the customer give me the idea. I'll do a Facebook page going, this is the course title. This is what it's going to do. This is the problem it's going to solve. This is how much it's going to cost. This is when it's going to start. If someone doesn't pay me based on that, I don't design the program. So I don't waste time building stuff that people don't want. And that's the best test if there's actually demand, commercial demand for the product. So you can make things easy for yourself. Don't make them hard. Be ready with an upsell. So I wasn't ready with departures, but I was able to come up with it quickly. If you're going to offer stuff for free, which I know most coaches do at the start, you sort of build your resilience and your confidence around charging. If you are going to do it for free, make sure you have something to upsell so that you can create an income for yourself, and create fans that share. So add loads of value, make your customer results the most important thing. Do everything to help them get those results, and then ask them to talk about it. And that is your business model. If you follow those, you're good. So how do you take your coaching skills and turn it into a product? Let others tell you what they want you to do. So ask them, and a question as simple as, what is one thing you do particularly well that you would love, that they would love you to teach them? And this could go out even to friends and family. So what's one thing that you think I do really, really well that you would love me to teach you? Because you'll be surprised. We often lack perspective of what our real talents and gifts are. I'm still not really clear on what my natural talents and gifts are, but I can only base it on what people tell me. And often I disagree with what people tell me I'm good at, because I don't believe I'm good at it, or I think it's so innately natural to me. Like doing a Facebook Live, coming on like this, I could talk for 24 hours. Marie and Janine would have to get one of those hooks to pull me off. I have a natural gift of the gab. I am articulate. I love talking. I'm animated. But I don't think that's really brilliant or anything special, because I've always been like this. This is just Dee. So when people tell me that they want me to teach them how to do this, I go, why would you? I'm sure there's other people who, I don't even know how I do what I do. And that would be the case with you. You'll get much better perspective of your real talents and gifts when you ask others what you're really good at. So start there if you're not clear an idea. Or review feedback that you've been given. What do people tell you over and over again that you're really good at? And don't be put off if it's not related to what you want to coach on. So let me give you an example. When I was running Detox for over a year, and people started to come to me and say, would you help me build my own online program? And for months I would go, no, I don't do that. Like I'm only learning mine. I'm not going to teach that. Even though I'd won awards, I was making money, I obviously knew what I was doing. I, for 6 months, went, every time I got asked, no, I'm not going to do that. Not taking my own fame and advice. And eventually I went, why are people asking me this? And why am I saying no? So I did a Facebook post. At the time I called it the 6 month, the 6-figure digital accelerator, whatever. I've changed the program now, the Expat Digital Moneymaker now. And I said, I'm going to teach you how to make a 6-figure course. And I had 20 people sign up, and I hadn't got the course designed. It was Detox all over again. And I'm still learning. And now, to give you some insight, very few people know this, I'm doing work for a telecommunications company during the COVID virus, where I'm now on their Facebook page twice a day, teaching their telecommunications customers how to go online. And now I've ended up doing some digital dealer program for them, because every other customers really like me on video. And now the telco is going, well, you're really good at this. Our customers like you more than they like us. So could you sell to them? So now I'm selling to them, and I've created a digital dealer channel out of the blue, which apparently is an innovation. And I have no clue what's going on. I'm just doing what I'm told, and I'm just showing up, and I'm terrified right now because I'm a new level out of my comfort zone, and I can feel it. Actually, the coaches in there are kinesthetic, where I feel it here, and I feel it in every morning as I'm getting up because I'm doing new stuff. I feel fear here, and I just go, Dee, come on. What's the worst that can happen? Come on. And I'm having to push through right now, because now I'm not coaching anymore. I'm doing something that isn't in my plan. And I was joking with Janine and Marie earlier in the week. I've given up on writing business plans because they don't work for me. Every time I write a plan, it's like the universe is going, what do you think you're doing writing that plan? You have no business deciding what you're doing, because obviously you don't know. Let us lead you. And I'm finding I'm being pulled into all sorts of things that I could never have imagined, but I'm listening now to what people are asking me to do. And I'm trusting those people that if you see that in me, even though I don't see it in me, I'm going to do it, because what's the worst that can happen? And I'll keep you updated on that journey, because I don't know what's going to happen, but it's mental. And post on social media. So share some ideas, just like I did in my first Facebook post. And please, anything in here, copy it. Steal it with pride. If you want to copy the text of my first Facebook post, take it. If you're successful, that makes me happy. And I know it makes Marie and Janine happy. So anything in here, if you want to copy my model fully, except for the detox name, that's the only thing I hold for myself, but use it for yourself, try it out. I'm not precious about any of this, so go for it. You can also do a bit of research. I like sharing this because this is a really simple way of finding whether an idea is good. So maybe you have an idea of a topic, and I've used project management in here. So research your topic and the most common problem. Now, the biggest way to find out what's the most common problem in a particular niche is go to my best friend Google and write biggest problems for project managers, leaders, entrepreneurs, mothers, children, COVID, whatever. Google will tell you what the biggest problems are if you can't come up with them. So here I wrote in biggest problems for project managers. Immediately you get challenge number 1, poorly defined goals. Challenge number 2, poor team skills. And each of these is a program in their own right. I could write a program on just poorly defined goals. And look, there's 302 million results on this. So this is a popular search. And if we dig down a little bit more, so I clicked on setting project goals. Now there's 966 million just in relation to setting project goals and objectives. And then I clicked on that, and look at this little course, setting project goals and objectives, online course being sold for $99. And who should take the course and how long it will take in related courses. That's market research today online. That simple. Biggest problem for X. I do this when I research anything that I'm going to do. And most people will be put off going, oh my God, Dee, there's all these courses there already. Then there's experts doing them. It doesn't matter. No one's going to do it like you. Look at the way, I think I use the weight loss industry as an example of this. How many fitness coaches are there in the world? Gazillions. How many diets are there in the world? Ketones, Atkins, cabbage soup, like it goes on. And it's a $1 billion industry, despite that millions of people being in it. It doesn't matter that somebody is doing it already. We're all coaches. That doesn't mean that I have to stop doing it because you're doing it. You do it your way and I'll do it mine, because we'll attract different people to each other. People who are attracted to me or not attracted to me, they're an audience for somebody else. So don't let the fact that people are already working in that area put you off. If anything, it's the opposite. It means there's opportunity there. There wouldn't be that many people if there wasn't a business behind it or money to be made there. So use these simple methods to research, another way of researching your ideas. And how do you know it's a good idea? Well, it solves a specific and urgent problem. So we talked about solving specific problems. It's even better if it's urgent. And by that I mean, so COVID-19 is a perfect example right now. There are a lot of urgent problems to be fixed for people. So possibly the elderly, those that are over 70 who are now housebound, have a very more specific urgent problem than they had before COVID. And that might be feeling connected or having food delivered to the house, protecting their health. People are more likely to pay now for an urgent problem, because we all have problems, right? But some of them we can live with. Some of them we'll get to later. Some of them we're motivated to do immediately because the pain of it is keeping us awake at night or is bothering us. So if you can get specific on the problem first, but then also find what's the most urgent problem you have right now, then you can start creating an income much quicker. You have the credentials to deal with it. Now, credentials, don't get hung up. I was arguing with someone this week who wrote to me and said, I don't have my coaching qualification. I need to wait to that to start coaching. And I got angry. And I'm a believer in credentials, and you must have training, but you should not stop helping people because you have an issue with not having a qualification or not. You should be out there practicing, doing it for free if you need to, and build your rapport. If you feel you can make a difference, get out there and make a difference. It's your responsibility to do that. Get your qualifications whilst you're doing it, because there's a lot of people out there without credentials, and yes, not all of them are great. But if you're connected to Empower World, I already believe that you're fantastic. So get out there and do it. The customer is motivated and can afford your solution. Now, if you want to make money, and I'm going to talk straight here, and some of you won't like it, but I'm okay with that. If you want to make money and you're all about making a difference in the world and you're going to help the unemployed, you will not have a business. People need to be able to afford your service. I get that coaches come from a generous place and a place of abundance, but you must make sure you have a viable business before you start doing stuff for free or for those who really, really need it. Now, I certainly do pro bono work, but because I can afford to. Because if I did all the pro bono work that I wanted to at the start, I would not have a business and I wouldn't be in a position to help anybody now. So start out with customers who can afford the coaching that you have. And then once you have your business ticking over, then be as generous as you want. Do everything for the UN. Go crazy. But if you start out being over generous, doing stuff for free, and in a niche where people really just can't afford to pay you, then you don't have a business. Now, it can be a hobby for sure, and a fabulous hobby, and one that you get great satisfaction from, and that's amazing. But if you're here to make money, you have to start with customers that can afford your services, and then look at your charitable pro bono work after that. Make sure what you're offering is easy to explain and understand. Keep it simple. If I can't understand what's written in a Facebook post, people move on. And confused minds don't buy. So a mentor told me that a confused mind doesn't buy. It just keeps scrolling. So make sure you keep things super simple. If a 2-year-old, 3-year-old can understand it, you're good to go. And make sure you're interested and enjoy the topic. Because if you're going to do this every day, you want to make sure it's fun. And that it's enjoyable, because if it's not, you'll get bored and you'll end up sort of discarding it. So always try to make sure that it's something that you love. And that's the makeup of a great idea. Now I'm going to whiz through these a little bit just to show you different things as a coach that you can do. Because I think many people go on straight to one-on-one coaching, but coaching is a fabulously diverse skill set. And it works well in a lot of different mediums. When I started out, I had a limiting belief that group coaching would not be as effective as one-on-one, because all my experience was one-on-one. And I thought, if I'm not doing one-on-one and I'm doing it multiple people, that would water down the experience. And actually wrong, because detox was group. And what I learned from that is, one, they all learn from each other. It's not about me. I need to put my ego in check. There was more learning from the group than there possibly was from my coaching, because they related so much to each other. And it was scalable, and people would still dial into a group call, even though they may not have something to talk about, but they want to listen to others because they always get value from each other. So there's double coaching going on in a group environment rather than one coaching and one-on-one. So there's things like that. So you can design an online course. That's my niche. I love designing online courses. You can create it once. It can be evergreen, so just sells over and over again. Brilliant if you don't have a lot of time. So you can just put it up there. You can give support or not, but it's a great way. I used to create mini courses as lead magnets when I started coaching. I would do a little mini bite-sized values exercise, for example, and put it out there, and then bring people into the Cell was detox after that. So you can do online courses. You can set up membership or community. Great if you want to start quickly, get the Facebook group set up. It can be focused around a popular topic or problem. It requires daily attention. Now, if you're going to do membership and community, you need to show up daily, because the group needs to be engaged. You need to be there, making sure they're motivated and involved and getting value. You can do a digital download. Probably less revenue from it, but it's one of the easiest and quickest ways to get started. So you know those ones where you put in your email and you download a document? You can charge for those as well. As long as they're solving a specific problem and they're unique, people will pay for a digital download. Very easy. Then no support, like people just download it and you're making money. You could do online coaching, so it can be group coaching or one-on-one. Group is more scalable. I have effectively stopped all my one-on-one coaching, with the except of the corporate work that I do for executives, because group coaching is just better, and it's a better use of my time. And then you can do webinars, so like this one, and I love doing webinars because you get great reach, and you can charge for your webinars too. So it takes minutes to set up. The effort goes into, there is effort in promoting them. So you can't just decide I'm going to do a webinar and show up and expect people to be there. And Marie and Janine will know this. There's a lot of social media that you need to post, let people know, maybe doing email campaigns, but webinars are super easy and quick, and you can sort of do them whenever you want. Like if you're not ready to do this full time, you may do a webinar once a week or once a month and start getting traction there. Your pricing model. So I wanted to show you this so you can see how you can scale. So you can do it. So I have DIY, DWY, and DFY. DIY, do it yourself. DWY, done with you. DFY, done for you. So a DIY program, it's self-service, or there's really very little access to you. So for example, an online course where there's no support, you could charge maybe say $99. They download the course, they do it themselves, and that's it. Done with you, there's a little bit of access to you, because as a coach, you're paying for access to you. Your time is valuable, your experience is valuable. So done with you, you charge a little bit more for. They have some access to you, probably in a group setting. And then done for you, they get a lot of access to you, and it tends to then go on one-on-one. How this looks like in my business right now. So DIY, I have a whole suite of online courses. People can go in and do them. I don't even know that they're there. Like it just happens behind the scenes. Done with you, Detox would be a good example of a done with you program. So the program is there, but I'm involved, and there's group coaching. Done for you, if someone says, I want you to design my online course for me, then that's a done for you. Pay big bucks for that, but I work with you one-on-one and I design your course. This happens over time. You don't have to start with this. I would say start with do it yourself, and then make sure you have an upsell. If you're going to do your do it yourself for free, or even whatever you start out with for free, make sure you have an upsell. It took me 3 years to have this in place, like 3 solid years to get this in place. And you can see this modeled. If you look at my website, disfordigital.com, you'll see this modeled in the website. And again, if you like any of my copy my copy from my website too. You can have it.
Dee, we're at 1 hour.
Perfect. And I'm nearly done. I think I have 2 slides left and we're good. So my secrets, in summary, and we'll get to questions, Ed, is adding real value. I talked about this being your sales strategy. No joke, I started following a lot of coaches a couple of years back, so I could, with a view to learning from what other coaches were doing, and I ended up blocking them from my Facebook page because I was so annoyed with, adding someone and then immediately getting a message going, join my group. And I swear to God, it's like people have forgotten manners. It's like asking me to sleep with you and we've just met. Do you know what I mean? Even though the world is online, you still have to sort of shake hands, go, hello, how are you? Tell me a bit about yourself. What are you doing? You don't jump in and ask people to like your page or like your group or sell you stuff if you've never had any contact with them. It just won't work, and it's really off-putting, and I will block you if you do that. Sometimes I'll take time give feedback. If I'm feeling good, I'll go, do you really think that's a good sales strategy? You could possibly try this. It would have worked better on me, but I don't have time to do that all the time. Come from a place of value. Your Facebook page, and if you look at my Facebook page and my LinkedIn page or my Instagram page, there's rarely, if ever, anything about selling. I just post content that is valuable to the audience that I serve, and they come to me from that. I don't have to, and I don't want to actually be, I don't want to be a cold seller. That's not my style. But if you're out there and seen as generous, what actually happens is people will say to me, we see what you do online that you're giving for free. So God only knows what you're like when we're paying for you. And I said, well, you'll find out when you pay me. Do you know what I mean? So it just sets you up above the fray, because there's so many coaches out there now. It's a very saturated industry, but it's very easy to elevate yourself above the noise. And you do that by being yourself and adding value, having conversations with your customers, being generous and considerate of their issues, and helping where you can, but also protect. That doesn't mean you give away the whole store. It doesn't mean your business has to suffer, but you can give value in very small ways that make you really, really attractive, and it brings people to your profile page as well. Take imperfect action. The perfectionists that are listening, oh dear Lord, you're just going to have to let it go. It's not possible to be totally prepared and have it all right. It's just not possible for anyone. So learn or relearn imperfect action. Go back to what it was like as a child, because you did take imperfect action at a time in your life. For some reason, you've abandoned that. Just going with your gut and believing in yourself and taking action is the start to success. And last but not least, this is important, get in front. I find too many coaches hiding behind their laptops and going, I can't go out there. I don't want to show my face. It would be vain, and I want to be humble. And I'm going, but you have a business to run. You can't let your limiting beliefs about what people will think about you or how you feel about yourself or how you look to stop you from, people want to know who their coach is. They want to see what you look like. They want to know what you stand for. They want to hear your voice, not anybody else's. And your customers will pick up that you're hiding or that you lack confidence, and that will hurt your business. And I know it's easier said than done, and it was certainly a journey for me. And I still get a little bit of anxiety doing Facebook Lives, but once you start, you get into it. But you can't hide behind your laptop. If you're serious about having a business that can scale, you need to start taking imperfect action and showing up on your Facebook page, in your LinkedIn group, on Twitter, wherever it is, and be a little bit vulnerable. Let people know how you are, because the chances are you're fabulous anyway and you're over worrying about it. So, free resources. And I encourage you, I use a platform called Mighty Networks. It's probably worth talking about just a little bit. I love it. I moved a lot of my groups off Facebook because Facebook technically own your customers, and there's too much control on Facebook right now, even though I'm a fan. I've used Mighty Networks for the past couple of months, well, since about late last year. I love it. I house all my online courses here. My community is here. All my customers here. I can talk to them in one place. It's really, really nice. And it's super cheap as well. So if you want to join the D is for Digital community, if you want more information, I have a lot of free stuff there. I'm there every day. And I think it's a way, if you want to model what I do and learn more about what I do, you can just sign up at members.diesfordigital.com. There's no charge for joining the community. And I'm happy to have anyone join in. And questions. I'm going to take a breath. So any questions?
Well done, Dee, and thank you for that. I got knocked off slightly, so Janine, I can't see the questions anymore because I've just come back in. So I'm going to let you.
I can see it. I have them here actually.
Great,
I can see the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to scroll up. So, Netherlands, everyone. Potterhead, fellow Potterhead. Oh, we have a fellow Potterhead. It's great, Sarah. Lovely to hear. Canva, Apper tool is recommended for creating a registration form. So Sarah, what Apper tool is recommended for creating a registration form? I used typeform.com, but I have also used Excel when I was starting out. My first registration form was an Excel spreadsheet that I sent out, but I like Typeform. SurveyMonkey is also good, and Google Forms are also quite good as well. So any of those. Yeah, SurveyMonkey good for questionnaires. Would these programs be counted as ICF hours? Nada. No, they're not counted as ICF hours. So they're just other hours with different value than ICF. If you're coaching small groups, I think it's a max of 12 people off the top of my head, but check ICF website. Okay, so that's just you guys commenting. Is there any platform in the internet to provide online courses? Gemma, thanks for that. So there are a lot, and that's a great question. I'd say the most popular right now for online courses are Teachable, Thinkific, and Kajabi, Kajabi. I've used Thinkific for a long time. I still do, but I'm in the process of moving my courses over to Mighty Networks. Teachable is really popular, and Kajabi is also very popular too. Udemy, Sana, Udemy you can use for online courses, but the problem with Udemy, or the challenge with Udemy, is that they own your pricing. So Udemy is an online course marketplace. So you can post your courses there, and maybe your course is $100. Udemy can choose to sell it for $1 if they want. They own your pricing. So it can be great if you want massive scale, because there's a lot of people who buy courses from Udemy, but it can be a challenge to make revenue from it because you don't control your pricing. So that's just something to be wary of. Now, I know people who make good income from Udemy. They're on it all the time, but look into the rules and the terms and conditions. What else? What about legal tax stuff? Anna, how do you organize it when you travel a lot and live in different countries? So that's a really great question. So I currently have my business registered in Spain, but I have an accountant to give me advice because this is not a strength. I'm certainly not an expert. There's very little legal issues you need to concern yourself with, except possibly things like GDPR, so data protection, which impacts citizens in the EU. I'm always cautious of data confidentiality from a legal perspective. Tax, I pay tax in Spain. If I'm invoicing or anything, PayPal and Stripe and those payment systems often take care of a lot of that stuff for you. So I would say go get good advice. I'm not sure where you're based, Anna. I would get advice from a local lawyer or accountant, particularly that they have with experience of online businesses or digital businesses. But I'm not a financial mind. I have found it very straightforward and have had no issues using PayPal and Stripe to do all my payments, manage my tax. And legally, I'm just registered in Spain. Yolanda, so yes, you've answered that. Let's see, all questions being complete the basic qualification. What are you using to charge your customers for the courses and how are they paying you? Asma, so yes, so PayPal and Stripe. In Mighty Networks, they have a built-in payment mechanism that is actually on their app, and you can sell your courses via the Apple Store and the Google Store in Mighty Networks, so that's all in there. There's commission to pay, but there is for most for online payment processing. So Stripe and PayPal, I would say if you're starting, that's the best place to go. What else? Thank you. You're welcome, guys. Yeah, that's it. Mostly comments there. Thank you for all the lovely comments, by the way. Is there one question? What would you do differently now that you have the benefit of hindsight? Oh, Graham. Great question. What would I do differently now? I would have started charging for detox earlier. I wouldn't have waited 9 months. I wouldn't have got overexcited and over designing stuff. I would have, my greatest personal challenge in how I work is that I only feel satisfied if I'm busy. So I end up over creating stuff when actually I'm at my best when I stop, reflect, and focus. So I end up wasting time over designing things when actually detox was perfect. I could have focused on detox and departures for a very long time and not done any more. So I think knowing your strengths and or your little foibles and managing those. But would I do anything else different? No, I'm pretty happy with what I have. And any other questions? We still have a bit of time if you can think of anything else. And thank you, Shajanka. Thank you everyone for your comments. So nice. What's the value of things like doing due diligence, risk assessment, what if analysis, laying out a roadmap? Oh, Saeed, we are opposites, aren't we, my dear, in comparison of being overconfident with your idea. I love this question. Do you know what? We all have different strengths, and I recognize that not planning works for me, but it doesn't necessarily work for everybody else. When I see words like due diligence and risk assessment and analysis and roadmaps, honestly, it terrifies me because it doesn't work for my style. If it works for you, go for it. The only thing I would caution you on is analysis paralysis. You end up overdoing the diligence and the risk assessments and the what ifs, and you're just not taking action, and it becomes a form of procrastination. So if you want to do that and you can commit to taking action relatively quickly, I would say go, each to our own. We all come from different places of strength. I wouldn't say I'm overconfident. I would say I'm quietly confident, but I'll take the feedback side. But make it work for you. Whatever works for you is good. Katie, how did you bring being yourself into the journey that brought you to this moment? Very good question, Katie. I remember having an argument with the guy who I hired to design my first website because he wanted me to register deehutchinson.com, and I said, over my dead body. So what you're seeing now is a very different version of the Dee 3 years ago. And I was horrified at the thought of having a website with my name in it. I thought it was vulgar. I thought it was crass. I thought, just who do you think you are? But I recognized as a coach, okay, this is something I have to deal with. So when detox happened, and I put D in there, it was a revelation for me because some people signed up to detox really not clear on what it was, but they were just intrigued by the name and they thought it was funny. And I thought, for me to overcome my lack of confidence and self-esteem at the time, I actually needed to come from a very different point and just insert myself everywhere, put Dee everywhere, because for me, I needed to do that to level up my game to where I needed to be. And it's just lucky I have a name that I could do things with. So I think doing small things like that, being on my Facebook Lives, stopping panicking if someone gave me an angry face on Facebook or didn't like what I was saying and taking that personally, that also made it easier for me to show up. But I remember the coaching that Marie gave me before I went on my Facebook Live. I remember it very distinctly. And I had said to her, she'd held me up against a wall. I remember it in your house. She choked me with some odd metaphor about, did I have a voice? And I was saying I was worried that I didn't know enough to be out there talking to people. And she coached me on it. And I remember saying, but people don't want perfect. I don't want to speak to someone who's perfect. I don't relate to anyone. It doesn't exist. We want people who are relatable. We want people who are vulnerable, who are happy to talk about how messed up we are. And I'm happy to share where I'm scared or sad or fearful, as well as the great things that happened to me. And the more honest I was, the more endearing I became. And that for me is being unapologetically Dee. And if you can find a way to be unapologetically yourself, that's where you bring yourself into your business, and it just makes you stand out in a way that's super unique and really authentic. So great question, Katie. We have some more here. Motivation. I'm glad you're motivated, Asma. That's fabulous. Estelle, when you started, had you built your brand? Did you have a website? No, I didn't. I had nothing, Estelle, when I started. I started with a Facebook group. And I didn't have a business when I started. Like, I started just with the detox group and everything happened from there. And I think that comes back again to feeling you don't need the logo to start. You don't need the website to start. You don't need the Facebook page to start. You don't need stationery to start. These are all things that we delay. These are things that we wait to delay going out there. My brand has evolved and changed and will continue to change. I don't think my brand is a static thing. And my website, since I've had 5 or 6 different versions of my website, it's the bane of my life is my website. And in fact, most people connect with me on social media anyway. So I would argue a website, depending on the industry you're in and what you're offering, a website isn't always necessary, but certainly don't let it stop you from starting as well. Graham, what was the tipping point at which you decided to give up corporate paycheck for the bold, albeit exciting new business adventures? Graham, I was working for a company I didn't like anymore, to be honest. The last corporate job I took was, I can see now, I was still delaying being an entrepreneur and I was a little bit scared. And my comfort zone was corporate. I could do it very well. I could do it with my eyes shut. But I'm also a great believer that world sends you messages, and those messages get more and more painful when you're not doing what you're meant to be doing. So the last organization I worked for, who will remain nameless, was not a values fit for me, if I put it politically correctly. And I knew it pretty quickly, and I knew what I'd done. I knew I had kind of made a mistake, although good things came from it. So I started putting money away really quickly with a very clear timeline to get out. And my experience was so not damaging, I don't want to exaggerate, but it affected me quite badly. I was really in a company that was a very awful fit for me, that I promised myself I would never do it again. That corporate would be, like, from an employment perspective, I wouldn't. But funnily enough, they are now my biggest corporate client. How times change. They pay me a lot of money now. They're very happy with me. So it was a lack of knowing that it wasn't for me anymore. There was nothing left for me to learn. And I think if you are employed right now and debating if it's a right move for you, the question I ask is, are you still learning? I think if there's still stuff to learn, maybe you can stay a bit longer. But if you know you're not learning, you need to start doing your exit plan. Now, I absolutely do not advise anyone to leave a job without a safety net. It can take time to set up your coaching business. It took time for me to get momentum. And you can spend money really quickly when you're not earning it. And people start to make bad decisions. When you start worrying about money as an entrepreneur, you also start to make really not the best decisions. So if you are employed, create your exit plan. There's a good side. I'm actually talking about planning there. Create a sensible gateway for you to come out, and ideally have your coaching business run in parallel, set it up in parallel, so that when you exit your corporate job, your safe salary, that you're doing it confidently, knowing that your coaching business can run. That's based on my experience. That's what I would advise. Let's see what else that's been coming in. Saeed, motivating, and I didn't mean it to be my strategy. I want to know exactly how to ignore it. Saeed, take the leap, Saeed. Push through. The chances are, and I think the ladies will agree with me, if you're naturally a very highly logical and analytical person, you are already planning. Like, you're already way ahead of someone like me who jumps in and I sort of work it out as I'm going along. So you will naturally be ahead of the game in your thinking, but you don't need to do more of that. You'll be more prepared than most people who aren't natural planners to start doing stuff. So go for it. Sarah, have you ever felt stuck while winging it? I haven't ever felt stuck while winging it, but then remember, my value is freedom. So wings for me is me at my best. When I am winging it, I feel incredibly empowered and strong. I don't feel weak with it. And again, that's not for everyone. You have to play to your strengths. At the worst, I have questioned myself because I know I'm winging it and I can feel like a fraud. So a little imposter syndrome will creep in, going, you don't know enough. But my evidence and what has happened with my programs is I actually know enough to get things done. You don't need to know 100% of everything. You need to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of your customer so you can lead them. You don't need to be 10 miles ahead of them. And actually that would be terrible. So you don't need to know it all. You just need to be a little bit ahead. Oh, Fatin, on the awards I mentioned earlier on. Yes, so I love applying for awards. I've been applying for awards my entire life. I'm bored of awards. My parents ring me congratulating on awards and I'm like, oh, for God's sake, this is so old, which is terrible, but I do it because it's good for my business. I would recommend any of you interested in winning awards that are credible and also easy, and some of them are free, is this Stevie Awards. And I'm just going to type it in here, the Stevie Awards organization. You can look them up on the website. They have very different awards. They have International Business Awards. I believe they have Middle Eastern Awards as well. They have Women in Business Awards. They run them a couple of times a year. You submit a form with specific answers. Now, there's loads of categories of awards. Some of them are free, like if you're a startup. There is one award on coaching, Best Coach of the Year in a business category. I am in that every single year. Won it twice a year in a row. So guys, I need some competition. When you come and knock me off my pedestal, because my head's going to get too big. But the process is quite simple. You fill in a form of questions. It's mostly around what you've done, who your customers are. And if you're starting out, you don't even need to have finances and stuff. I think it's a very fair process. You submit it, and each award is judged by 10 industry specialists. And you actually get the feedback from those judges. So it'd be 10 people to keep it fair. And I like it because some awards lack credibility, and the Stevie Awards, I think, is a very credible organization. There's bronze, silver, gold, and lots of different, they have so many awards, you generally tend to get something. There's loads of them. So if you apply, I think you probably get something. But then when you get your award, you get the feedback from the judges on your submission, which I have found really, really useful. But the Stevie Awards are brilliant. But even locally, do your chambers of commerce do awards? Are there business networks in your country that have awards? There's a lot of organizations you'll find in your own country that have awards. It's like anything. Take action. Just submit, push yourself forward for it. You don't need somebody else to put you forward. Certainly for the Stevie Awards, that's not the case. You nominate yourself. And it's a fabulous way to get some publicity on a very large scale, and it adds credibility to your brand. So Stevie Awards, I highly recommend. Awards, what's a good strategy to cope with that, Sarah? Are you talking about imposter syndrome? Push through, no strategy, keep going. That's it. Just ignore it, pretend it's not there, keep going. Do I still have a coach? Sarah, I have multiple coaches. I have coaches depending on how I feel on a particular day, the kind of issue I'm having with my business. So I have people I'll go to from a finance and business modeling, pricing perspective. I've coaches. I'm currently working with a coach who helps me with my LinkedIn, on how I write on LinkedIn. I have coaches for when I know I'm procrastinating. I have a woo-woo. I've actually got a woo-woo coach now, because I'm not one of those woo-woo people, but I'm putting myself out this year and trying to get a little bit more, I don't know, spiritual and meditation, which I really, really struggle with. And I've found it very enlightening. So I go to different coaches for different things, because like we're all different, right? And the kind of problems that I have, or challenges that I have, or needs that I have are different. So I go to multiple people, but I highly recommend always having a coach. Thank you, Colleen, for the feedback. Sarah, I've just realized that I was looking at my ability to wing it as a weakness and not being able to plan, but actually I need to lean. I think winging it is the biggest strength, Sarah. And I, no joke, all of the people that are in sort of my free programs, the difference between someone who takes action and not is the perfectionism and believing that not knowing enough means that they should do nothing. And I think winging it shows strength. It shows a certain amount of belief in yourself. It shows, I think, sense of humor and an openness to fail, because failing is not bad. Failing, you learn. I've learned amazing lessons from when things have not gone my way, and it hasn't been overly painful. And sometimes, yes, I would prefer it didn't happen again. But I think if you learn to embrace all the stuff that you already know, all the experience and talent that you already have, you are all already extremely gifted. So what else do you need? Like, I mean, what else do you need? You don't need anything more. Go for it. You're already really well equipped. And yeah, 12:26. 4 minutes. Thank you for all those questions. They're brilliant.
Wow. Wow, Dee. Incredible. Incredible.
It was fun. I enjoyed
it. What an amazing webinar. And we can tell by the feedback that people got so much value out of it, as we did. And your energy and your knowledge, your wisdom, your focus, what you bring is incredible. And it's beautiful to hear how you live and make decisions according to those values, those beautiful values.
Every decision has become so easy since I've used my values. So I look at freedom, independence, and fun. And if I have a decision to make, I ask myself, will this decision move me forward towards these or away from? And sometimes I might give up on a little bit of fun for something, but mostly I need to have all three checked, and then I'll make a decision. So it simplifies the decision making so quickly.
Yeah. And that's what we say and share at Empower World. If you're clear on your conscious values, what really inspires you and it energizes you and brings meaning.
Absolutely.
That's the best way to make decisions. So yeah. Thank you.
Dee, this was delightful, delectable.
Thank you, Marie.
You bring such energy, such warmth, such truth, and you are you, and you've always been you. And the more you've stepped into your power, the more you've been able to grow. Thank you so much, so very, very much for giving this opportunity to coaches at Empower World and also coaches outside our community.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. I'm happy to be here. And if anyone has any questions afterwards or whatever, Marie and Janine have my details. I'm happy to continue the conversation and help in any way I can. But that will be a double-edged sword, guys. So if you come near me, I will get it done. Get it done.
And Dee, we've had a few people asking if the slides are available. We'll make the recording available. So
absolutely, you can share the slides, no problem.
Yeah, that'd be great. Some great feedback coming through.
It is lovely. Thank you for all the comments, guys. It's very generous.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So as Nellie has said, as we end off normally at an Empower World event, we always say, I am empowered, but now we are de-empowered.
Thank you so much. Best of luck with everything. And Marie and Janine, thank you for hosting me. The training in Qatar was really instrumental in who I am as a coach. And I think you guys, if you haven't been on the Marie Janine's training, you need to get on it, because it really made a difference in who I am. And I think I'll never forget that you can be the coach you want to be, from both of you. And I've continued that on, and I wouldn't be where I am without your support. So I'll be eternally grateful for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for joining us. If you want to know more about Dee, of course, go find her. She's everywhere. You will not be able to miss her. And if you want to find out more about what we do, please contact us on social media or wherever you can find Empower World.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Dee.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Stay well.
You too. Bye, everybody.